what was the main idea based off of Kingmaker Society? Why was it that you wanted to create this?
Okay, we're hopping right into
We're
it.
hopping right into it, of course.
I love it. I love it. Get into the good stuff. Well, let me start by saying my name is Jordan, and I'm the CEO of Kingmaker Society. But there's no brotherhood if there's no people like Aaron. Who
Of
have the
course.
vision, have the leadership skills, and they take initiative. So I appreciate you just for
Of
even hosting
course.
this with you,
Of
Aaron.
course. No problem. Yes, it's my honor after all. You were the reason why I'm successful as it is, you know? This whole brotherhood, this whole idea that this man created, everyone, he has really shown a lot of faith and he's shown a lot of, work and drive and initiative. And that's what I think I've been looking for in, a like minded community, not just a like minded community, but a community that's really trying to, support everybody in every way they can. And the best part about it, like the thing you just said, like this is a brotherhood, we are holding each other accountable. And how was it that you really constructed this whole idea? Like, what was the whole base of it?
Great question. Great question to start with. So it backtracks to similar to what you just mentioned, not having something that you want, and that's something being a brotherhood of like-minded individuals, specifically martial artists who aren't just focused on martial arts, but focused on self-improvement outside of the gym as well. Because if you're a great athlete and you do really good at your sport or sports, what does it mean if you're great at your sports, but you're everywhere outside of the gym? Your life is disorganized, and I just realized in order to be the best version of myself, I have to surround myself with other individuals like yourself, Aaron,
Correct,
who
correct.
also take pride and value self improvement inside the gym and outside the gym. So I went looking, I went searching. I was like, what could I join? What could I be a part of?
Of
I
course.
looked, and this wasn't just a week or month or couple months type of journey searching. This is a more of a 4 year type of journey of, all right, I've been waiting 4 years for something. Where is it? I can't find anything. Never came across nothing, and I just came to the conclusion I got to stop waiting and I got to start acting. So I was like, let's start building. Let's start building.
Yeah, it's a great answer. I mean, I love it because after all, when you're surrounding yourself with people who aren't really towards helping you get to that goal, helping you out in life, and you're surrounding with people like, you already know one of our most biggest fighters in our brand is Muhammad. Muhammad Ali, he's great. He's great at what he does. And of course, he always holds the brotherhood accountable. He shows things that we don't even know about, but now we're learning towards that. Of course, the content. He is one of our best members, and you being the reason that he is in our group is the best part. You being able to source these people and everything in every way possible. I mean, I love it because this wouldn't have been possible without you. We wouldn't have known or have bigger opportunities without Kingmaker Society. And that's one thing I want to say is like, what was the whole idea? Of course, trying to find actual fighters. How did you manage to find the right fighters to, help us out? Not just the right fighters, but the fighters who are really having that initiative to make content and put their own brand out.
Oh, you're going question for question, bar for bar. Really good questions after great questions. I could really tell you took your time to set everything up accordingly. So great question. When it comes to sourcing, I want to mention before I mention anything, I can't do everything alone by myself,
Correct.
and I'm very grateful that there's a solid team that believed in the vision from the beginning. I'm talking before steps were even taken. So I want to mention a couple people that I feel are very they helped out in just the creation of this. For instance, co-founder Ryan. Actually, I met him the same day I met you, Aaron.
Oh wow,
That was a really good day in business.
that was a no. That was like two on one special right there.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And just like yourself, he also just immediately saw the vision and took initiative and took leadership. And I saw what was going on. And when it comes to having an empire, you can't build an empire alone. If you think so, it might be ignorant because there's so much pillars, so much basis, so much support you need in an empire that it's not a one man team. It's everybody has something to bring to the table. And so Aaron has been very helpful in the process of not only setting up the people we look for, but recruiting people as well and bringing people in. So what we're looking for right now is martial artists who have ambition, have leadership skills, and they want to take their martial arts to the next level when it comes to either being a pro or a content creator or anything of that nature. So that's what we're currently looking for. But to really answer your question specifically, when I first started, I we didn't start initially with martial artists. This wasn't
Mm.
specifically made for martial artists to begin with. I'm how we got here. It's beyond me. But at first, we started looking for specifically just general men who have ambition, have goals, have leadership skills, and value self improvement. So we it was so broad. It was not in our benefit. I'm talking, we were going to be talking about things like calisthenics, bodybuilding, martial arts, health, fitness, discipline, mindset, which we still are. We still are, but now instead of just there is a criteria. It's nothing too crazy, but now we just have to be a martial artist with those values rather than everybody could join because what's the point in that? It
Right.
wouldn't really be special for the people inside of this brotherhood or in this community as it is.
Correct. And I love the fact that you said, from starting out with looking for men who had those ambitions, who had those goals in mind, and from there you started branching off towards martial arts. I love that idea because, the fact is you could have just stayed as that fitness group, that fitness motivation, and just keep it as, oh, I just want, a lot of people who are working on the gym, showing a lot of gym content. But nah, you switched towards the martial arts. And I also want to ask, what was the main reason why you started martial arts? Why did you start martial arts as a young age or whatever age you started? If it was now or before then, what was the whole idea back then?
Well, now the reasons why I got started in martial arts. Grew up very skinny and wasn't the most attractive individual, so just naturally bullies gravitated towards me, and naturally the only way I knew how to defend myself was doing a whole lot of this. So
I
I
can
couldn't really
agree.
defend myself physically, but I had to fight back with the bullies just doing this. But again, that naturally caused me to get my butt kicked a whole bunch of times.
Hey, same thing that happened to me, of course. As I was young, I was skinny. I wasn't as attractive. I wasn't even knowing how to fight. I just used my words to try to de-escalate. Even so, do my best to even not have any issues with anyone. But yeah, I agree. But of course, back to it, like you were saying.
So since I got beat up in middle school and high school, and at the end point of my school career, I was just homeschooled because I was sick of it. It was during COVID, that I
Oh.
graduated. And, I was turning 18.
Hmm.
That I realized I'm a man now, and I have to take matters into my own hands. And nobody, whether you're a family man or you're a husband or a good friend, you have to be able to not only defend yourself but others. Your loved ones, your family, etc. Now that I was becoming a man at 18, I couldn't just rely on others around me to make sure things are all safe in any environment. Right. So I hope that specifically answers that question.
Hmm. Correct. Now, what martial art was it that you started after, discovering that, hey, I need to find a way to, defend myself, but not just myself, everyone around me? What was the martial art that actually started that whole foundation?
Wow, wow. I love these questions, Aaron. I want to ask you that exact same question afterwards.
Of
After
course. Yeah,
I
no
complete
problem.
this one. So getting started, all through actually from year from when I was 8 to 18, strictly just did soccer. That was my main sport. So I love me some kicks. I practice kicks all throughout the day, couple hours a day. So just making the transition to martial arts, I'm kind of thinking, hey, there's a lot of kicks involved in MMA. So started with kickboxing and some taekwondo, and made my way to MMA. But I do some grappling as well, wrestling, jiu-jitsu. I do Muay Thai, Taekwondo, kickboxing, boxing, and I'm taking a lot of Krav Maga classes.
Hey,
But don't even get me started on that. But for yourself, what was the initial martial art that got you into the whole MMA journey?
well, backtracking, like you said, I mean, after all, when I was a kid, I never really had that many friends. I tried my best to make friends and tried my best to hang around, the kids who were, popular and everything, but they just shoved me away. I was so kind towards everyone, just like my mother told me to be when I first started school, to be nice to everyone and, just do everything you can that you can do. Of course, like the thing is, throughout those years, it got rough and rough and rough. I wasn't the smartest kid. I wasn't, paying attention because of the fact that my whole idea of school was just to try to make friends, but that whole idea just failed on me. And then that's where the bullies started coming in. That's where I started getting picked on for being the skinniest kid in there, the smallest kid there. But not just that, during middle school, it was even a little bit worse. I was super small in middle school compared to everyone else. I was the smallest kid, height-wise, and, of course, weight. I was, of course, looking like I was a kindergartner going in there. And I was just the easiest pick of the bunch. And going into high school, it was getting a bit better. But ninth grade, I fell off. I had issues where I was hanging around the wrong crowd. I was doing bad things where got me into problems. I was getting into fights, and I was losing each and single one of them because I didn't know how to defend myself. So sophomore year came in. I swapped schools because I didn't want to hang around that school anymore. And things were looking a bit better. But then I got into the wrong crowd again just because I felt as if that would have been something that would try to lead me towards a good life, but it didn't lead me to anywhere. It led me to a dead end. It led me to the same old exact problems, got into fights and lost, and I tried my best to fix things, but it was eventually a little too late. So going into my junior year, I started to discover a bit more martial arts towards boxing, mixed martial arts. That's where I discovered the UFC when I was, in junior year, transitioning there at least. I saw a lot of fights after watching Strickland versus Adesanya for the first pay-per-view event, and that was the first event that I ever really
That was
watched.
good. That one
That
was
was a
good.
great. That was a great one. I had a friend of mine told me, "Oh, Strickland's gonna win this," and I didn't even know who these people were until I started researching and putting my mind into this. And I was like, I fell in love with this sport. I started learning how to box. I self-taught myself how to box, and thankfully, I had learned it really well. I put 30 minutes, not even 30 minutes, an hour to more a day just learning how to box. I had a little heavy bag in my room, or not my room, sorry, my garage, and just kept on working and working and working. And then I eventually self-taught myself Muay Thai. From there, transitioned to kickboxing to jiu-jitsu to boxing, and then to there to all the way to Muay Thai, and then from there now to MMA. I've learned a little bit of jiu-jitsu here and there. My base obviously being, boxing, but then moving towards Muay Thai. That's where I'm at right now, and hopefully even so, once I'm learning how to grapple much more better, then going into MMA much more. But yeah, man, that's how it really all started.
That's quite the experience you got there. And you mentioned something that really caught my attention. At first, self-taught. And I know you train in a gym now, but what you mentioned, I think it's truly important because that message, that specific thing could, a lot of people need to hear that
Mhm.
because a lot of people want to get started with martial arts, but there's always that excuse of, not, there's always that, the thought in their mind of, I don't know where to start.
Mm.
In the Big 26, we got Google, we got we got all the resources online for free. If you have an internet connection and just one device, you could hop on YouTube. You could
Exactly.
hop on YouTube. You could scroll. You could figure out all this information online at the comfort of your own home, and that's the best place to start. The comfort of your own home. You don't need a training partner. You just need to practice the techniques. But that's good stuff, Aaron. That's good stuff.
Yeah, because I had a VR headset around middle school, and I had this game called Thrill the Fight. That's where I started learning how to box. I just played that game every day, and that's where I was like, okay, this is fun. This is fun. This is looking nice and good. And that's where I started, just keep on playing that game. That really got me into really getting into more combat sports. That just gave me time to really reflect on what I wanted to do, because I really did do Kickstart around middle school too, but that was only for 1 year, and that was something that I liked but didn't really look forward to competing into and always sticking with it, because after all, that was just something I wanted to do for an extracurricular program to see what it was
Mhm.
about, and it was a great program. No offense to people who do Kickstart now. It's just for me. I personally like this aspect of actually hitting someone without any penalty or any issues like that. Obviously, for me, there's a lot of combat sports factoring into that, kickboxing, Muay Thai, and of course, boxing itself or MMA. But yeah, I mean, that's how it really all started for me. Just self taught. And for everyone out there who's really trying to learn, it's not really that hard. You could just put 30 minutes a day punching a heavy bag, but not just punching it like you're just doing a cardio workout. No, like actually practicing the techniques,
Mhm.
watching YouTube videos. Even myself, I do Technique Tuesday videos, and that is one thing that the idea from Ryan came by. Ryan came
Mhm.
up with the idea for daily scripts. And that's one of the things here we offer in Kingmaker Society. We offer scripts for everyone who doesn't have an idea on what to do. So we offer them something to at least put up a content. If you do have ideas, that's great. Put them out there and don't let, someone say, "Hey, don't do this anymore. Take it down." Don't let anyone beat you down. The whole point
Mhm.
is you want to show others what you're all about. Don't let them take it down. Don't let them
Mhm.
don't listen to the haters. Even I had a couple haters talking like all smack to me just because I replied to a comment. If you've seen that video, you guys will
That's
know. It's an insane experience that a lot of people will hate on you. But no, this is one quote that really stuck to me. No hater will do better than you, or even is at a level that's so high. A hater who is hating on you is always at the bottom. They're at the bottom.
Mhm.
They want the worst for you because they're jealous of what you have. They're envious. They are very, very, very disrespectful because they are thinking that because they can't do it, they're going to go on other people to prove that they won't do it. That's the whole idea. I don't
Mhm.
like the fact that, people do this on a daily basis. They even do this in their entire life. I've had dealt with so many haters in real life and online. And that's where I built a mindset where I'm like, I'm just not going to listen to them. I'm just going to let it go
Yeah.
in one
Yeah.
ear and go out the other.
That's
That's
right.
how
You
I
got
have it.
to. You got to. And that's a bar right there. What you just mentioned, I definitely had to write that down. I knew coming with a pen and a paper was a necessity, non-negotiable, because that's
Non-negotiable right
value
there.
right there. That's a bar. You said a hater's never gonna do better than you. Is that right?
Yep. A hater won't do better than you because they're at the bottom. They're at the bottom.
Yep.
Anyone who's hating at you will always be from the bottom
Mm-hmm.
and never from the top because you don't see people
True.
at the top hating on you. They will either be motivating you or either just, cheering you on. They will be either doing something to at least be kind towards you because they've been through the same struggles before. Why will they, do the same thing the other will, For
I
me,
want to add on to that. Yeah.
yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. True. Whew. That's a new change of perspective.
Hmm.
If there's a hater that is hating on somebody, you said it. You said it very well. They're at the bottom,
They're
and
always at the bottom.
somebody who's doing better than you is going to be motivating and encouraging you. You want to know why? Because they're at the top, and that means they're a leader. They
Exactly.
are a leader. A leader is never going to try to knock somebody down. Never going to try to demotivate somebody or hate on somebody, because that's simply not a leader. That's somebody who will be at the bottom for a good amount of time if they continue on with that.
That's correct. That's correct because that mindset that they carry really shows what person they really are. They are the type of person to think that they won't be able to do it because of what is going on, whatever it is. They're the type of person to, like doubt themselves. They're the type of person to really think that, man, I can't even be able to do it. Why is he? That's envy right there. That's the envious feeling that they always carry. And that's one reason why I don't listen to them. I just let it go out the other way. I hear him, but I don't listen to him.
Mhm.
That's the whole idea I think about a lot of times, and a lot of people can keep on doing what they're doing, but what's the point of hating on someone else? What benefit does that bring? No
Mhm.
benefit at all. It just brings more and more pain and disruption and all those things that you don't want in your life. So yeah, that's how I view things. But another question I gotta ask you, like you said, mentioning with the pen and paper, I love the fact that you're old fashioned. That's a great thing to carry. A lot of things nowadays have been digitalized. A lot of things have been, used for electronics. Oh, I have it down on my PC. But let's say one day, we have no power. We have nothing. The whole point of old fashioned is to use the ways that we used to have them. And that's the beauty of it. Old is gold, is it not?
Can I show you something? Can I show you something real
Of
fast?
course. You can show
Right,
me anything, brother.
right down this camera. And I actually, I was telling my mom this the other day. Let me flip my camera real fast. So you see all of these, this stack of binders right here.
Wow. That's a lot right there.
If yeah, if technology, if let's say if one day just the power goes out, just never comes back, and you have everything on your phone, and don't get me wrong, I do have some stuff on my phone. But when it comes to learning, it's all going to be on a pen. It's all going to be with the pen on a paper, because if you ever want to backtrack to that knowledge and say, you don't have a charger, it's simple as that, and your phone's dead. Oh well, you know. But that's just I really do think it helps you learn more when you're writing things out rather than typing things out. And
Correct.
well, another thing is that my unk age at 23, I already have arthritis in my thumbs, so I can't be typing everything out all day long, man. It's not good.
Yeah, it's not healthy after all. I mean, another thing I want to point out, when you're writing things down, that's where that mind gets more creative and more imaginative. And that's another thing I love about writing, because you really get to flow. You get to really say and express yourself on how you feel. When it comes to typing, you're kind of limiting your own vocabulary. You're trying to correct yourself. You're trying to do this or that to simplify it. But when you're writing, you can have it all down. And another thing I wanted to say is the ideas you write down too. The ideas that you write down for the daily videos, not just that, but also for the meetings itself. Our meetings are held because of your ideas that you've written down. It's not ideas that are just printed out from ChatGPT, written down on the computer. No, no, no. It's ideas that you brainstorm, you thought about, you put on a pen and paper, and specifically said, this is what I want to talk about. And that's another thing about writing. It's so good and it's so great because it's a process between learning and expressing yourself.
Truly, truly. With those group calls you're talking about, just for reference for anybody who hasn't, who's watching and hasn't seen too much of what we got going on throughout the week, where we have martial artists who they physically train in a gym to develop their martial arts and their career. Now, when you get home and you're outside of the gym, how are we developing ourselves as martial artists? Well, Kingmaker Society, we host discussion group calls throughout the week, and these are self improvement topics for martial artists. Like,
Mm-hmm.
for instance, the last one we did was how to fight according to your body type, your physiology. Previous one we did how to manage work, life, personal goals, and martial art goals. Right now, getting to back what I was mentioning about these group discussion calls. Each call is structured and has intent and has a purpose. When it comes to learning, especially for these martial artists that join these calls,
Mm-hmm.
everybody's taking time out of their day to be there. So I feel it's only fair that you take some time, maybe like an hour to 2 hours before the call or sometime before, and write out the structure with intent. Not type it out because you can't keep checking your phone while you're actually doing the call. If you
Correct.
are hosting, but just writing it out with intent. And when you write it out, it's going to be in your mind. When you structure it with specific goals and intent, that's going to be the objective. But I'm mentioning this to say that's not just beneficial for these group discussion calls. It's beneficial for your day to day life.
Correct. That's true, and I agree, because you really have to have that structure in your life. Because if it's all reckless, out of the place, and everywhere, things are gonna get hectic. Things are gonna get unorganized. Things are gonna be very, very, very bad because things are just gonna be so out of place, and your head is going to be just so disoriented by trying to figure out what to do. That's why a lot of people have a routine, a lot of people have a structure, a lot of people have it down written on a whiteboard, a pen and paper, their journal, whatever it is they do. When they wake up, they know what they need to do, and that's discipline right there. It's not motivation. It's not just like someone telling me to do this. No, I know what I got to do, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to execute my plan. I don't care what anybody says. I already got it written down. I already know what you got to do. Just go for it.
Really, a man with a plan is a man who plans to succeed,
Exactly.
and vice versa. A man without a plan is a man who plans to fail. So,
That's
which one
true.
are we gonna be?
We're gonna be that person who succeeds. We gotta have that plan. The whole point is to really have everything planned out, and not just planned out, but as well. Somebody could have all this written down, but they won't even do it. They won't actually go out there and dedicate themselves to actually putting the work in. And that's one reason why we're holding a lot of people accountable for what they do. They say, "Hey, man, I want to make content, but I don't know how to do it." Then we got you ideas. But then we give you the ideas and y'all don't execute it. That whole point is we want you to do what you're trying to do. We want you to actually do exactly what you say, right? You
Hmm.
can't just say that I want to do this, but not actually execute it. You can't just say this. So a lot of people speak a lot. They say a lot more words than their actions speak. That's why I say sometimes what I'm going to do, but sometimes I don't do them. And I believe there's a Bible verse based on this. Why do I say what I want to do, but I do not do the things I need to do? I believe it's in the book of Romans, and Paul is saying this. Paul is specifically saying that why do I do the things I do not want to do, but I say I want to do the things I do want to do, but I do not do them. And that's another great piece. I love the Bible so much because it actually brings a lot of facts, a lot of things about our lives day in day. And that's another thing a lot of people really got to look forward to. But no offense, not a lot of people are here religious. Not a lot of people here are based on being Christian and this and that. But that's okay. That
Mm,
we're not here forcing you to do that. We're just here to motivate and help each other out. We're here to
exactly.
hold people accountable. We're here to help each other get to our goals. And that said, that's what Kingmaker Society is all about, to build kings. We're not here to really break you down and just keep you there broken. No, we're here to build you up and motivate you to keep going and going and going till no one can stop you.
I
That's what we got to
agree.
do.
I agree. Very well said, Aaron. My philosophy is a successful community is not just the leaders winning or eating. A successful community is everybody winning, everybody eating. Win, 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 win all around. Aaron's winning, Ryan's winning, Jordan's winning, Diego's winning, Joshua. We have Brent, a whole bunch of people. Everybody who, as many people as possible that could achieve their goals within our brotherhood, we want to happen.
Correct.
And as you mentioned, we set everything up as smoothly as we can. We give people individualized, structured game plans for their martial art goals, personal goals, and life goals, right? And even obstacles in their goals. We'll give them the plan. We'll give them the structured templates of different posts you can do every single day. They're different as well, and their viral potential. We do have people like we mentioned at the beginning of the call, Mohammed.
Muhammad, yeah.
We have people going viral because they're taking the action. And I was mentioning my last point. So we try to set up everything as smoothly as possible, so then it's as easy as possible to achieve our goals. So that's what we're all about over here. But I did want to mention a little side note. I was talking to you a couple weeks ago, and I mentioned this as well, Aaron. You have the characteristics of a leader, so I think that's awesome. So, but for other people, the difference between a winner and a loser is strictly just the amount of action that's taken.
Correct.
Both are going to fail a lot. Both are going to fail a lot. That's inevitable. But the winners, or the overnight successes, or the people who they found the success and the goals they're trying to achieve, it didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen in a week or a month or a year. It happened through a process of continuously failing, and all that experience goes into when they take off, when the success finally hits, because it's a matter of action that's taken and experience that's accumulated. So it's food for thought. Food for thought.
I gotta add on to that. When you were saying the process of continuously, being continuing with your, just staying consistent, staying consistent. The winners, what they do is they stay consistent, even if they failed, even if they keep on going down, they keep on going and going and going. What the loser mindset is, when they fail, they just give up right away. They're like, oh, I lost this, man. I don't want to do it anymore. I give up. I give up. I don't want to keep going. The
Mm,
winners, they see the losses, they reflect on them, they see what they can do better, and the next time they come back, they perform better, or even worse, they just get a slight bit better. But either way, they come back stronger and stronger. They don't care of what the losses are looking like. They just keep on going until they keep winning and winning, and even so, there's always going to be obstacles in the way. But the point is,
mm,
they get through it. Unlike the loser, when they see the obstacle in the way, they turn around. They're like, I don't want to get through this, man. I'm done.
truly,
I quit.
truly,
And that's the
truly.
whole point of why we're here to be continuously, motivating you. No matter if you're going downhill, we're here to help you out, come back
Mhm.
up, and keep pushing up, keep going up and keep going up that hill. We don't want people to just stay down and just let them be down. We're here to help each other out. Like, we're here to lend a helping hand. We do accountability checks. We do check-ins every week. We make sure, hey, man, what's going on, brother? We haven't seen you do these reels. Me, I was inconsistent the last week because I had a slight issue. And so y'all checked up on me. Y'all see what was going on. And I told you, hey, I had a little issue going on because I had a lot of work coming up. And now I'm back to it. I got into more videos. Instead of just keep on going with the same routine, I actually doubled it. I doubled the work. I managed to do 2 videos instead of the one daily video. I did 2. I
And we're
switched it
doing
up.
an interview right now.
Exactly. And we're doing an interview right now because you know what? After doing those daily videos, I was like, yeah, let's go for it. Let's do it. Let's make sure we get this done. We want to get it as fast as possible. We want to do everything we can with no interruptions, no problems. And I made sure to, have enough time out of my day to be able to do it. And that's what we did.
Actions speaking louder than words over here. You're doing a great job, Aaron. You're doing a really good job.
As for you, brother, and I just want to add on too, for the fight camp you got coming up for your Taekwondo match, man. How is that going on? How is it looking like right now?
I would love to talk about it. Love to talk about it. But I want to backtrack a little bit.
Yeah, let's first backtrack a little bit. Let's go back to what I was saying, but then we'll continue on what I was just asked. All right.
So I'm backtracking to August, and this is just the beginning of like the fight camp build up. So August. Well, before I get started, I want to mention, just being in a position of a leader, I have to practice what I preach. You know what I mean? I can't be helping lead a whole group of martial artists if I'm not a active martial artist practitioner myself. Whether I'm in competition or not, training consistently or in competition. But I did a point kickboxing in August, and then in January I did a Naga grappling jiu-jitsu competition, and then in March of 2026 I did a street beef MMA fight camp of martial art MMA fight. But I was telling myself after that, I'm gonna just give myself some months. You know, the 2 times a day training every single day of the week with maybe one day off. You know, at first I was like, oh, I need some months off after all that. After my MMA fight, I was like, I just need some months off. But the more I progressed with this community and the more active fighters continuously joined, and nobody even mentioned to me, like, hey, Jordan, you need to fight or you need to do a competition. Nobody mentioned that to me. But I'm seeing all these individuals post their competitions, post their trophies, post them in fight camp. We have people who are having pro debuts coming up, multiple
Exactly. We
martial
got a lot
artists.
of martial artists right now in their fight camps pushing the pace, and even so, still doing their daily reels. They're still pushing the content now, daily and
Mhm.
daily, or even so, 2 days per week, whatever it is that they're doing. At least they're putting their part in the community.
Yeah.
They're as
Yeah.
well motivating us to keep going. And I like to add on there, how long has this community been going for? Like, when did it start? When did it start? Like, how long has it
Yeah.
been since it started?
It's so today is April 28th. It's been hard launch was March 15th of 2026. So it's been about a month and a half, right?
A month and a half, and
Yep.
we've got a lot of progress so far. We've got a lot of members in just that 1 month and a half span. That's
Yeah.
the best part about it. You know, that
Yeah.
right there just shows how much dedication you have into this, and I
I
love
mean,
it.
all of us,
All of us,
honestly,
not just
honestly,
you, but
brother.
me as well.
Yes, exactly. And for that competition I have coming up, I haven't done a Taekwondo competition before, so I just want to do something. Just want to do something, just to keep up with everybody else. But that's gonna be in 2 months from now. So whether I win or lose, there will be footage.
Hey,
So.
exactly. For me, I mean, I lost my match, but I still posted the footage. I didn't care what other people thought, you know. I even looked back in my footage, see what I was doing wrong, and I was like, yeah, I did this bad, but that's
Mhm.
okay. We know what to work on. We know what my
Mhm.
weakness is, and we're going to strengthen that. So next time I get in there, I won't have an issue. But the thing is, of course, you know, with that match, it was also a whole iffy and just a whole scenario that was all messed up, you know. I came into that event thinking that I was going to be matched up with someone my age, my weight, but instead it was so disorganized. It was so bad. It was a mess. Like I tell you not. I even have footage of them messing up live during the event. They literally closed the software to show what the matches were, and they had to call the promoter to even get the software
Mhm.
back up. And when I was getting called in to see who I was going to participate against, they said no one. So I had to offer. They either offered me to stay at first place for my division and just go home with my prize, which was this sword I got. But either way, I was like, no, I want to compete, bro. I came here to compete. I came here to fight, win or lose. I don't care. I came here to fight. And I asked them if they could match me up with someone in an exhibition. And so
Mhm.
I saw there was another kid who was participating the same weight class as me, but he was a different age category. He was 15 years, and he was mainly a grappler. So I was like, let's go for it. Me and him spoke about it before our match. He asked his parents' permission, and they said yes. So we went at it. We did great. Of course, I lost the grappling. I won the striking, but hey, all well is done. We were both respectful. We were both nice to each other, and the whole point was we had a lot of fun. I had fun with it, even though I didn't do what I was expecting to do. At least I went out there and showed up and put my work in. You know, a lot of people show up, and either way, I'm not making excuses on how I lost. I'm just saying I lost fair and square. That's okay. We'll come back stronger. For sure, not gonna participate in that same event again because they had me pay like $50 to register, and I didn't even get someone who was my weight class. I was like, no, I'm not doing this again. But I for
Uh,
sure will compete
that's
again
all
this year. Yeah, it was
disorganized.
all
So
disorganized. Yes.
disorganized.
So of course, I'm definitely gonna be competing probably in a kickboxing competition next. Probably a points kickboxing event called IKF. I don't know if you ever heard of that, but
That's the one I
IKF.
did.
I
Yep.
want to start doing that, and obviously it's gonna be fun. I'm excited to do that because I think my kickboxing would do great against whoever I'm facing, and from there, I'm gonna keep going and going. Maybe even participate in a Fury kickboxing event someday because I know Fury kickboxing has just started recently. I had one of my training partners in a gym that I go to, and he competed there and he won his match. He got performance of the night. That man put all the work in. I even saw the work they were putting on him. They put him on Shark Tank. They put him through the mess, but he still got through it. And the crazy part is he also was a coach for the kids too, because he coaches the kids as well. So,
Oh,
I mean, I'm glad he went out there, did his performance as he wanted to. He went out there styling, and that even motivated me. I was like, you know what? I want to get into Fury kickboxing too, but as well as I still want to do MMA. It's not that I don't want to do MMA. I just want to do other things with MMA on top. You know how Armand, he's an MMA fighter, but he's doing wrestling, RAF.
wrestling
That's
all day
yeah,
long,
he's
all day
wrestling.
long.
He's still active.
He's
I still want
he
to be active.
actually just got paired up with Muggsy.
Yeah,
in,
I just
in
saw that.
RF.
I just saw that. He's going against Muggsy in Dallas, May 30th. That's going to be a great
Oh wait,
matchup.
you said in Dallas?
Yeah, Dallas. Now I'm definitely gonna try to show up for that one because that's next month. So May 30th, that's like a whole month
Shoot, I'll
away.
be out of man. I'll be out of the state. I'll be out of the state. Dang it.
Yeah,
I'll
it
I'll
is
be in
cool, brother.
California at that time. But
Wow. You got a
that was
vacation or something coming up, or is that where your competition is?
so we have an individual. His name's Tanner. Great guy. In within the community. And funny story, I was mentioning this on the last call. Him and I were actually we met because we were competing against each other in the Naga competition in San Diego, like grappling, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, and I knew exactly what he looked like because I stalked his smooth comp. And as we were mentioning on the last call, we ended up warming up together. It was a funny story how that happened. He ended up being in my corner after our match. His coach ended up helping coach me in my second match. Afterwards we became really good buddies. But he invited me to an event to set up a Kingmaker Society booth at his gym because they're having an in-gym competition, right?
That's dope.
So yeah, it's gonna be fun stuff. So in all good hopes, I'll be out there at that time, God willing, and we'll make some stuff happen.
Hey, that's
But
great, brother. That's great to hear. You're out there putting your brand out in front of a live audience, and that's a perfect opportunity to have more martial artists join our brand, and that's the best part. Anybody can come in here. It doesn't matter if you're great. It doesn't matter if you just started. It doesn't matter if you're pro or amateur. We allow people who are striving for success, who are actually ambitious for this, and not just that. It doesn't matter what you are, brother. You having those goals in mind and actually doing those goals at the moment, actually pursuing it, we want you to come into our community. That is all we ask. We just want you to do your part, and we'll do ours as we always do. That's the whole idea.
couldn't have said it any better. It doesn't matter what caliber of martial artist you are, whether you're a beginner, intermediate, amateur, or professional. If you want to grow, if you practice martial arts and you actually take action on your goals, then you're a right fit. And if you're a man, of course, you're a right fit. Eventually, we'll have a
Kingmaker Society.
Exactly.
That will be the brand. That would be the brand. But don't worry. We'll find a way to have that someday. Right now, we're just focusing on the males at the moment. And then once we find a woman's successor who is actually striving to lead that, or even so, if Jordan's participating to do that as well, we'll do it some way. But we still have a lot more things to actually accomplish right now. We still got a lot more things to build. We got a lot planned for this year, and not just this year, but for the future ahead of us. Because another thing I want to say is, if we're here to really build this, we got to stay consistent. We can't just give up because, let's say, for example, let's go back in time for a moment to the Roman Colosseum. That Roman Colosseum wasn't built in a day, wasn't built in a month, nor a year. It took a process. It took time. It took a lot of processes to even build the way they made it look. It made it look really beautiful. They made that Colosseum look beautiful because they didn't have the modern tools they have, what we have right now. They had different tools back then. They had to use other ways, other methods to be able to just, get that building accomplished. And they made it successfully built. I mean, after all, that building is still standing to this day. It's been years.
You're right. Hey, Beautifully said, Aaron. I think this was a really great interview. I really enjoyed it,
Of
man.
course.
I really
I had a
enjoyed
great
it.
time. I had a great time, speaking with you, of course. I'm glad that everything's going well with you and everything's going well with me. We had a lot of good moments in this interview, of course. I would love to, schedule more interviews with the Gold group chat, if anything. Maybe even get an interview with one of our pro debuts coming up soon. And that'll be a great
Ooh.
opportunity to even ask him questions about his opponent, even more. But we'll keep that, for a little bit later. We don't want to really spoil more stuff here. That said, everyone who is tuned in for the Kingmaker Society interview, we love you. We are here to help you out, and we're always welcoming new members.
Yes, sir. That's right. Y'all have a beautiful day now.
You guys have a blessed one, brothers.